So taking a pause on our Jeep, which we've made great progress with, we have another Jeep on the dyno for some tuning. So this one's a 6.1 liter. It's got a Vortec blower on it. You may have seen this Jeep before. We tuned it in A. So anyways, we've got it on the rolls. You can strap it down, make some pulls, get this one on back to the customer. We also had a Camaro get dropped off for a tune as well, and as you can see, the air intake has a little bit of a problem where the map sensor is. So we're gonna pull that off and get that fixed, and then we'll get that one on the dyno next. So guys, as you can see, our Citadel is on the ground. Man, it looks good. Sounding good, got the long tube headers installed. And I got those lowering screens installed. Gave this Durango a whole new look. John's backing her on out. This thing will hopefully be hitting the dyno here in the next day or two. We just got the PCM back from HP Tuners. Actually, I lied. We didn't get it back from HP Tuners. Let me give a quick shout out to our friend Jared at JLT Comp in Victoria, Texas. They have been doing our unlocks recently. We started working with them, and great people over there. Jared's an awesome person, and I appreciate his quick turnaround times. So just wanted to shout out the shops that help other shops and to make this performance industry great, because there's not too many of us left in this. So we appreciate you. Shout out. So we've got the Camaro on the dyno now, and we're gonna start making. John's revving the Durango. Got the Camaro on the dyno now, so we're gonna go ahead and make our baseline run and start tuning this thing. John has epoxied the air intake, and now it is sealed. Now the fuel trims are correct, and now we can get to rolling on this thing. We spoke with the customer, and he said right now it's not in the budget to get a new intake, so hopefully this works for him while we get the car tuned, and then he'll save his pennies. And either, I'm not sure if he's going to get the same intake or a different one. Obviously if he gets a different one, tune may have to change, but for now this is what the customer wanted, so we've gotten it taken care of. So let's get to tuning. Our other Jeep, we pulled it off the dyno after fixing the O2 sensor problems with it, and it's coming in now to get the spark plugs pulled. So the customer said a new motor was put in this thing, so I'm betting the shop that did the motor put a set of stock plugs back in it and did not gap them. So went ahead and ripped it off the dyno. We're going to get this Camaro knocked out in the meantime, and John will pull the plugs, and we'll see what they are. We may change it, but for sure we're going to gap them down. Turn it off. Well, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, as you just witnessed, we've hit another brick wall. Customer drove this vehicle in. We fired it up, put it on the dyno, popped the hood, seen the intake, popped it back off the dyno, fixed the intake, put the car back together, let it idle over here for like 15 minutes, no issues. And you just seen I went to make the first baseline run, hadn't even got to making a pull, and we've got motor noises. So we're gonna pause. John seems to think it's passenger side, so we're gonna pop that valve cover, take a peek. So ladies and gentlemen, it is the next morning. I pulled the valve cover off, everything looked okay, then I had epiphany. Yesterday when I was running through the gears, there's a chance that this thing being an auto car engaged the DOD. And this car may have a problem with the DOD, and that lifter did not oil back up after it came back out of DOD. So put the car back together, fired it up, no ticking sound, everything's good. Went in the computer, disabled the DOD, and we're gonna go ahead and run it through the gears, make sure everything sounds good, check oil pressure again. And if all goes well, we'll go ahead and make a pull. If not, we're gonna pull this thing. Obviously recommend a cam, new lifters, and then we'll see this car again. But let's see what happens. So I haven't been turning on the camera, but we've been making some more pulls on the Camaro, working through issues with it. I was getting some knock in the upper RPM band. I just didn't feel like the motor was actually knocking. Air fuel's looking good. Ignition timing isn't too aggressive for this engine. And so I came out to look, and I could feel something in the steering wheel. You know, not moving the steering wheel on the dyno, but when I moved it, I could feel something. So if you take a look, right there, the steering shaft is touching the header, which that resonance could be throwing off the knock since it's a high RPM. So we're gonna disconnect. You can see where it's been wearing it away. We're gonna take this off and dent this header in, see if that doesn't solve that issue. So guys, that's gonna wrap up the Camaro. We were able to dent the header, the knocking away. So there's a little tech tip for you guys. And let me show you the final pull. 431, 412. So looks good, pulls hard. This one is fixed, but we're gonna advise the customer on what to change to make it better. But as for now, this Camaro is going home. So guys, as you can see, we've got our Vortec Jeep back on the dyno now. We just ripped off the Camaro. It's all good to go, ready to go home. We went to make pulls on this yesterday, as you guys seen in the video, I believe, and we were having spark blowout. We have since then pulled the plugs, regapped them, and put the Jeep back on the dyno. So let's see what happens now that we've got the spark plugs gapped.